Hey pals, it's Haley, and welcome back to another podcast, or rather, welcome back to a video because my podcast microphone thingy is currently broken. I spent an hour just trying to fix it, and it didn't work, so we're stuck with this. But today we have something so exciting to discuss. So last time I talked about a book, a really, really well-written book called Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. And this time I'm back with another book, maybe even possibly better book that I read for my English assignment, and it is called Flowers for Algernon. This is the cover. It is by Daniel Keyes, and I swear to you, it is one of the most fantastic books I've ever read. It was an experience. It was like I was living through this book. This book like touched me in such a personal way. And I mean, I read it after the Keystones. I tried to draw out reading this as much as I could because it was so good and I didn't want it to be over, but I cried when it ended. But I read it after the Keystones and it just fully captivated me, and it made those two, that extra hour and a half of time just go by so quickly. It was incredible. But, you know, I'll read the synopsis on the back and then I'll elaborate a little bit. Charlie Gordon is about to embark on an unprecedented journey. Born with an unusually low IQ, he has been chosen as the perfect subject for an experimental surgery that researchers hope will increase his intelligence. A procedure that has already been highly successful when tested on a lab mouse named Algernon. Hint, hint, why it's called Flowers for Algernon. As the treatment takes effect, Charlie's intelligence expands until it surpasses that of the doctors who engineered his metamorphosis. The experiment appears to be a scientific breakthrough of paranormal importance until Algernon suddenly deteriorates. Will the same happen to Charlie? Okay, so really great synopsis on the back here, but basically it covered the main points. But Charlie Gordon is this really, really well-developed character with learning disabilities and a low IQ, and he's super. Although he has trouble writing, because this book is from his perspective. This book is written through progress reports because he's going into the surgery, and so they want to have before, during, after, all that stuff. And so it starts with really poor grammar and really poor like vocabulary is spelled wrong, which is so, it just immerses you into this world, and then it grows to get better, which, good for me because I'm a bit of a grammar Nazi myself, but it was so moving that I didn't even care. But it moves into his intelligence, and I truly believe in the middle there are some of the most notable quotes in the entire English language. It was so beautiful, and I wish I had marked them, and I didn't. But there are some really beautiful metaphors and stuff in the middle of this because it's showing his metamorphosis. It's showing how far he's grown as a character, and that's just, it's incredible. So I don't want to give away the ending because I think you should read it, and so I'm not going to sit here and spoil the ending for you. I mean, I could put a disclaimer later, but I'm not trusting that you wouldn't watch it, so I'm going to definitely not talk about the end because if you want to hear the end, you can read it. But, let's touch on, just a simple, basic, list of characters, or rather some of my personal favorites. So obviously there's Charlie, and Charlie is super innocent in the beginning. He's innocent, and he doesn't realize, because of how low his IQ is, he doesn't realize that the people at his work, he works at a bakery shop, and he doesn't realize that the people at his work aren't laughing at him. He thinks they're laughing with him. And so it's really heartbreaking to see this man be laughed at, and he's still calling those people his best friends because he thinks that they're laughing with him. And so that's another interesting concept when he gets smart and intelligent and realizes that they were never laughing, with him, they were laughing at him. But other notable characters, Miss Kinnian, which I believe her first name's Alice, and that is a later love interest for Charlie. I'm not going to get too much in detail with that because I don't want to spoil it, but she's a really sweet lady. She helps him, center himself and realize who he is after he becomes intelligent, because when he becomes intelligent, he loses a bit of his kindness and because he gets so intelligent that he's even at a higher IQ than the doctors who, helped him get to where he is. And so it's really difficult for him to stay grounded and rooted in who he really is, which is, humble and sweet and kind, and he has this big goofy smile all the time. And so it's really hard for him to stay grounded, and that connects to the theme of this book, or at least the theme that I found in this book and I connected to, which was that people with lower IQs, they're honest people, and you should stay close and rooted to who you really are, but people still change. Is basically what I got out of it, because it was really moving for me to read about how a lower IQ'd person might understand and interpret some of the things that are said. And it just made me realize that some people are really inconsiderate when it comes to that stuff, and I really don't want to be a part of that. And so this book really opened my eyes and made me think, like, maybe I should watch how I'm saying things, or maybe I should be extra careful. And so I'm really glad that I read this book. Other notable things, there's a lot of going back in time, quote unquote, or it's more him realizing, because once he gets smart, those mental blocks that were holding back some of his more traumatic memories, they go away, and so he sort of like relives some of his traumatic childhood events, which I'm again not gonna say because I don't want to spoil it, but you can imagine it's pretty rough. But I absolutely loved this book. It's a little hard to get into, again, because of the poor grammar at the beginning, but once you get into it, I swear to you, it is such an experience. Like, I don't cry reading books, like, ever. That's just not really something that I do personally. I don't get really emotionally attached, but I fell in love with this character, and I fell in love with the idea of this character and his journey, and I wanted him to succeed, you know what I mean? Like, I was invested, and I found myself thinking, you're gonna make it out of this, and you're gonna be okay. And so I've never really felt that before, so it was really, really awesome. But yeah, I don't know, it was absolutely incredible. And I definitely think that anyone watching this should read the book. And if you want me to make another video explaining more details about it and maybe giving away some spoilers, I can definitely do that. But for now, I think this is all I can really do. So, oh, and to my English teacher who's probably watching this, hello. And I think you said you may have read part of it, but if you haven't read the full thing, definitely read the whole thing and email me once you do, because I think we could have a really cool discussion about this book. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Go read this book. Go find it. I doubt it's much money. I think on here it says it's like $12.99, something like that. Read this book. Danielle Keyes, you're fantastic. Please continue writing. this was incredible. So yeah, that's all I really have to say. So go read this book and comment when you do, and we can have a really cool discussion. So ciao.